Ja, nicht bis wieder. Okay, so nahe heran. Hier mit meinem Let's Play von Ace Attorney Investigations Prosecutors Pass. Ah, mein Fuß ist eingeschlafen. Ah, bitte beruhig dich wieder. Ah, ich gucke mir doch mal hier die Schuhe an. These footprints. Are they really Mr. Cameron's? They're from size 11 shoes. And these huge footprints match up with Mr. Cameron's shoes. No matter how you look at it, they're moving steadily towards the center of the flower beds. But when Mr. Cameron was attacked, he grabbed the button from the snowman. Even with the great thief's peak human conditioning, your arm just can't stretch that far. Let alone an ordinary civilian, I'd be completely impossible. The footprints come from the shoes worn by the victim, just as the case files say. However, does that mean Mr. Cameron was the owner of these shoes? We should re-examine Mr. Cameron's shoes. Okay. Sprich nochmal zum Körper. These shoes should match the footprints. However, these shoes, it seems like they were not the ones originally worn by the victim. What do you mean? If you look closely, you see the laces were tied up strangely. And the size doesn't seem to fit quite right either. Okay. Wieso hat der fremde Schuhe angehabt? Also hat ihn wohl jemand angezogen. That would mean these huge footprints leading up to the victim's feet were most likely made by someone other than the victim. Yeah, someone other than the victim. So then the footprints leading to and from the victim's head must be Mr. Cameron's. No, not necessarily. They seem a little too small to be the victim's footprints. So none of the footprints are his? Then which way did Mr. Cameron walk from? It's quite simple. The victim did not walk here on his own, but rather he was carried here after he was murdered by the culprit. Oh. The question now becomes, where was he killed and carried from? Perhaps it was near the snowman after all. Okay, dann nochmal zurück zum Schneemann. Mr. Cameron's body was moved if you consider the button he was holding onto. It's highly likely that he was killed near the snowman. I should take a closer look. Armer Schneemann. Ah! Da fehlt sogar hier Dings, ein Stein. Huh? There's a brick missing here. The rest are all in order. It's strange that only this one is missing. Aber wunderbar. Jetzt haben wir es doch. Der Beweis, dass er genau hier umgebracht wurde. Perhaps the missing brick was the one used as the murder weapon. Ah, yeah, it seems to be just at the right size to fit in that gap perfectly. Wow. Gut dann. Zack, zack. Und we have it. As I thought, it seems the murder actually occurred near the snowman. Both the button Mr. Cameron was holding and the murder weapon came from there. Indeed. Also, if we assume that the killer picked up the brick near the snowman and then tried to sneak up behind Mr. Cameron. Oh, Mr. Cameron totally would have seen the person picking up the brick. Exactly. Okay, please update the recreation. Mr. Cameron was not in the middle of the flower beds, but near the snowman. Okay, I'm on it! Ja. Dann stimmt das hier nicht so ganz. No matter how you look at this is strange. All the people involved in the case are gathered in the same place. Did we make a mistake here or something? One piece of evidence this recreation is based on is odd. If I had to choose which piece of evidence is fake, which piece of evidence is likely to be fake? Wie wär's mit dem Foto? Dann müsste es... Das ist dann nicht die richtige Position. Dann. Oder ist es von jemand anderem aufgenommen worden? Was this photo really taken by Mr. Cameron? What do you mean? We have proven that whoever killed Mr. Cameron also moved the body. For what reason would they have to deliberately move his body? Perhaps the culprit wanted to falsify the scene that Mr. Cameron witnessed. And that's why they took a fake photo! They made the president stand under the street light and took a photo with Cameron's camera. Cameron's camera. Oh, these are bits. It would have been quite simple. Now that you mention it, Mr. Cameron's camera only had one photo on it, right? Indeed, in all likelihood, the original roll of film had been removed from the camera. And after loading a new roll of film into the camera, the fake photo was taken. I see! So this photo must have been taken after Mr. Cameron was killed, right? Exactly. This was not the scene Mr. Cameron actually witnessed. It's likely that this photo is forged evidence. Then where did Mr. Cameron witness the president and his kidnapper? The photo isn't the only piece of evidence that indicates that Mr. Cameron witnessed. Ah, the testimony left on the answering machine! Precisely. We should listen to the recording one more time and confirm what was said. Where else could the president and his kidnapper have been? Na gut. Vielleicht hier an dieser Stelle, wo alles so verbrannt ist? Mr. Cameron said this on the answering machine. The light just went off. I can barely see a thing now. There are only two places here where the lights are broken. The light by the orphanage! Okay, could you please update the recreation? Roger! This is... So the kidnapper was near the orphanage! Indeed. With this, we've shown the connection between the orphanage and the kidnapping. So that's why they moved the body and took a fake photo to create false testimony. In order to remove any suspicion towards the orphanage in court. With this, the state of the recreation has changed completely. The time the body was discovered scene was probably being greatly impacted as a result. Then let's go check it out right away! Preparations are ready! Since the state of the recreation has changed once again, I should press the Y button and select change recreation. Let's give it a try. Okay. Ja, das möchte ich gerne. I've recreated the scene. Dann ist aber hier das ist ja aber das Blut etwas fehl am Platz. No, no. The blood splattered above the snow. Boah, was bin ich denn gerade wieder so müde? Above the snow. There certainly was a substantial amount. It's almost as if the murder was actually committed here. But Mr. Cameron should have been attacked near the snowman. Exactly. In that case, this blood must belong to someone else. What? But the police report said that this was Mr. Cameron's blood. The one in charge of this case was placed the best. It would have been simple for him to falsify that information. But wouldn't it be faster to just clean up the bloodstain rather than falsify the information? He wouldn't be able to do that. Think about it. Blaze knew that Mr. Cameron's body would be discovered here, in which case the forensic department would naturally become involved. Ah, a luminol reaction! They would discover it with the power of science! Precisely. It would have been difficult to completely erase all traces of the blood. However, falsifying the results of a blood test would be much easier in comparison. You would just have to switch the results from the forensic reports. Oh, what a bummer! Knowing those documents I read were falsified. It looks like Mr. Cameron's clothes were completely soaked in blood. If the blood scattered here got onto Cameron's clothes, that would mean at the time the bloodstain here had not dried yet. I see, so this is certain somebody's blood was splattered here just a short while before Mr. Cameron was murdered. Indeed, that's exactly right. However, if that's the case, wouldn't a new contradiction arise in this recreation? Es geht immer weiter, immer weiter. Oh, kann ich schon wieder deducen. Ich glaube, ich sollte nach dieser kleinen Aufnahmesession echt ein Nickerchen machen. Fire! Na gut, das ist dann schon mal hier Dings. This is a clear contradiction. Huh? You mean this bloodstain? Do you see how this bloodstain is broken up by the remains of the fire? This is proof that the fire occurred after the blood had scattered around the area. Huh? But I thought the fire occurred before the murder. It seems that information is suspect as well. If the fire had broken out after the murder, then the child who started the fire should have seen the body and the bloodstains. Why then did they not come forward as a witness? It's likely that would have put Blaze as target disadvantage. Guess we'll need to investigate this fire in more detail. Hey, you! Yes, sir! There should be some records of the fire in the police department under a different case file. I want you to bring me here every last investigation report about the fire. Understood, Shifu. Oh, and one more thing. What is it, sir? Contract the House of Lang and Sang Fa. There should be evidence from this case in my old man's room. What do you mean? I just remember why I recognized this scene. A long time ago, I saw a picture in my old man's room. It was a drawing resembling the scene. What did you say? However, I think it looked like something a child drew. A child? Then the artist may have been the culprit behind the fire. It should still be somewhere in my old man's room. Have them send it over here. Understood, sir. Okay, Investigation complete und ich sollte vielleicht definitiv mal ein Nickerchen machen. Das sind noch ein paar Minuten. Shifu, I'm back! I've brought the info of the fire the kids started and the photo of the drawing in your father's full office. And also, oh, I've been waiting for this. Hurry up and hand them over. If the information held by Agent Lang's father. Na, wie süß, aber oh, Moment mal. This is it. It's exactly what I remembered. This was the picture drawn by the child, depicting the night of the incident. It sure looks like it was drawn with a child's touch. As I thought, the one who drew this most likely the child who started the fire. Nach wie vor gefällt mir hier nicht, wie hier dieser Mörder aussieht. Dieser Kidnapper meine ich, Entschuldigung. Aber es ist ja ein Auftragskiller. Shifu? What now? Sorry, but it's gonna have to wait. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Why do you think my old man had this? Perhaps he obtained it during the course of the investigation into the incident. Although I don't know why he would have concealed it. Agent Lang, might I be able to see the details of the fire? Yeah, sure. Allow me to read the post-haste. The boy who started the fire snuck out of bed on the night of the incident. It seems this boy went missing several days later. What? Don't tell me that he witnessed something he shouldn't have. That's horrible! He was only a child after all! While I'd hate to do that to be the case, you can't rule out the possibility entirely. Traurig aber wahr. Huh? Apparently the boy left some stuff behind at the orphanage, and it was taken as evidence. What's this? What's that doing here? Mr. Prosecutor, do you recognize this? Yes, I know one piece of evidence is related to it. Which piece of evidence is related to what the body left behind? Hier, das ist wieder ein Teil vom Horn von Mozilla. Ah, Ups. Verwechslung. Da habe ich geschlafen. Ich muss echt ein Nickerchen machen, Alter. Das ist ja nicht mehr normal. Ich schlafe ja schon fast bei meiner eigenen Aufnahme ein. Ah, das war natürlich diese Puppe. Dem fehlt ein Horn. I don't know what it's doing here. But isn't that the missing horn from this Mozilla doll? No way! You mean this came off the president's... You know of it? Yeah, I've noticed the president kept it close by as a decoration. I always thought it was strange how one of the horns was missing. If you twist the horns, this doll will play back any previously recorded audio. So if we put the missing horn back in place, we might be able to hear a different recording. Indeed. It is possible. The doll is currently on the 51st floor of the Grand Tower. Hey, you! You heard that, right? Yes, sir! I'll be right back! Shifu, I've got it! The mighty Mozilla doll! Well done! I've given it to the prosecutor over there. If we insert the horn found at the orphanage into the doll... It's a perfect fit! Well, can you hear anything? Mr. Juan, it's Amy. It's been a while. I saw the news that you would be coming to this country. I was really nervous about doing this, but I decided to send you a message. Please stop the playback! Judge Courtney? Huh? What's wrong? Stop it! Now! It's a boy. Your son. He's just been born. I'm sorry. That's all I wanted to tell you. His name is John. John Marsh. It's a fine name for him, don't you think? Marsh? Did she say John? I'll be waiting in the courtyard of the orphanage at midnight on February 9th. Even if it's just once, I want John to be able to meet you. I'm sorry if I'm being selfish, but I'll be waiting. No way! That was my... John. What's the meaning of this, Miss Courtney? John is not my biological son. He's adopted. Ich könnte jetzt so die Stimmung kaputt machen, indem ich so schreie. Unadopted! Jetzt habe ich's gemacht. Fuck! Did John know about this? Of course he knew. John's mother, Amy Marsh, passed away about 5 years ago. She and I were cousins. Since we were young, we've always been really close. We were often mistaken for sisters. That's why, when she passed away, I thought it was only natural that I'd look after John. Also, there were circumstances which prevented me from revealing his father's identity. I never even told John his father's name. And now it's all been revealed, thanks to the recording on that doll. Did John's mother send the doll to the president? Hey, John. Was he the president? Really my dad? Yes, he was. Before you were born, Amy worked as a diplomat in Sengfang. A diplomat? 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 Ich weiß es nicht. So that must be how she became acquainted with President Huang. Hang on! Did you tell me she worked at the orphanage? Yes. After returning to this country, Amy left her job as a diplomat. She always had a great passion for charity work, so she began working at the orphanage. Hey, Miss Courtney. So this Amy girl, she called the president there herself, but she never showed up at the scene of the SS5 incident. What's with that? Amy couldn't make it. Apparently someone had been following her on the whole night. Perhaps it was Blaze. I can't say for certain, but it's possible that it was High doing. His doing, true? After that, Amy never got another chance to see the president again. So she died 5 years ago. This conversation must be painful for John. Alright! Hey John, you thirsty? How about I buy us both some juice? We can go together! I'm a part of this too. I'll listen until the end. Besides, I can afford to buy my own juice. Oh, shut down by a kid! Naja, John ist halt nicht so blöd. John, do you understand the reason I met with the president 2 days ago? The secret meeting from 2 nights ago. I wanted to tell him about Amy's death and that you were alive and well. But I see. That's why you couldn't tell us your reasons for meeting with the president until now. I get it! She would have had to reveal his connection with John! I brought a bouquet of lion lilies, so that he would understand I truly did know about Amy. Those flowers are a dear memory to the president and Amy. The first present she received from the president was a bouquet of lion lilies. But now even he has passed away. If only he were still alive. Perhaps I could have introduced him to John. Shifu! I'm sorry to interrupt this atmosphere, but there's something I need to say. Oh, what is it now? Can't this wait? Und jetzt auf einmal bin ich wieder komplett wach. Dieses Ereignis jetzt gerade von wegen Adapted hat mich jetzt wieder richtig wach gemacht. Alter. Well, actually there's one last item that's been delivered here from Sengfa. I have here the president's will. What? The president's will? My old man received a great number of special medals from the president himself. As a token of his trust, the president left his will in the protection of the Lang clan. Those medals and that will, they were the pride of our clan, our family treasures, so to speak. This is... Agent Lang, does that will have something to do with the current case? You bet it does. It says here, I hereby acknowledge John Marsh as my own son. What? John's name is in the president's will? Are you certain that that will was written by the president? Yeah, he entrusted it to the Lang clan even before the SS5 incident took place. They'll have to appraise it back home. But by the name of the Lang clan, this is the real deal. Di Junhuang was the president of an entire nation. The existence of his son would have caused considerable controversy. However, he left behind a will just in case. This makes it doubly sure. I still can't believe it myself, but there's no room for doubt. John Marsh, you are the son of Di Junhuang, president of Sengfa. John! John! Ja gut, das ist echt eine große Bürde. Ich meine, ja gut, es ist eine große Bürde, es stimmt. I mean, man erfährt nicht alle Tage, dass man das Kind eines Präsidenten ist und man gleichzeitig den Verdacht hat, bzw. den Glauben hat, dass man schuld an genau diesem Präsidenten ist. Das ist scheiße. Okay, ich habe jetzt genug überzogen. Egal ob positiv oder negativ, Bewertung immer gern gesehen. Das war's meinerseits und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal wieder. Nee, ich brauche kein Nickerchen mehr. Sehr geil.